My name is TNG Street Rider, and I am back once again with another Marvel Heroes gameplay highlight, this time featuring Hawkeye, everyone's favorite archer. So, it's patch time again, and one of the heroes that is receiving their level 52 rework is Hawkeye, one of the most signature Avengers character, of course very popular thanks to the new Avengers movies. And Hawkeye has been changed in a lot of minor ways that I found. First of all, you'll notice that his trees, they look a little different, even though they also look similar. And that's because a lot of his skills were actually renamed. His quick arrow has become his serrated arrow that gives bonus crit damage rating for each rank into it. He has his twin prim arrows now instead of dual arrows, was it? I think it was twin arrow actually. And twin arrows now actually is called twin prim arrows, and they regenerate health and restore spirit based upon enemies hit. They also do a decent amount of damage. They're actually the power that I've gone with down the bottom here. Triple arrow has remained the same, but now adds in a 40% slow for 4 seconds, which is very nice for crowd control. He's actually received a buff to rocket arrow, which all characters will actually receive this buff, but if you fully charge it, the power will now do 200% of fully charged damage. Pinning arrows remain the same. He's got a new skill in his archery tree called 3-round burst, and this is exactly what it says. It fires 3 arrows in quick succession and deals 40% extra damage to bosses, elites, and champions. And it costs only 10.3 spirit when it's at max rank, which is not too shabby. In addition, he now starts with his acrobatic roll, which has it was renamed. I believe it was called getaway roll before, and it actually now provides attack and move speed based on the rank that you have in it. I only have it at rank 1, so I'm not getting too long of a duration on it, but I believe you can get this buff going up to about 8 to 10 seconds per every time you use it. Precise aim, I think, is mostly the same. Something that you'll notice with all the new reviews or reworks is that a lot of the passives are being combined into one. This one isn't no different. It still has the crit and the brutal strike rating, and his other passive, Master Archer, is the range attacks, the piercing, and the extra damage rating. So they've gone ahead and they've consolidated some of the passives into one, but on all they function the same as you would think that they would. Nothing too much has changed there. He does, however, have now a the combat skill tree, has now become his sort of Persuado melee tree, including a melee basic attack called Ronin Assault. Obviously, this is not the tree that I've gone down the path of, but some of you might find it more interesting. Electric Arrow, which originally was, I believe, something called Taser Arrow. It's the same thing. It really hasn't changed. Just the name changed for some reason. I don't know why. Tear Gas Arrow works the same as any other AoE based dot skill. This one does have the weaken on it, which I use it quite extensively. I like it. Explosive Arrow has the 10% extra damage for 5 seconds to enemies it hits. It's nice to get a little bit of damage in there, but nothing too much has changed on that. His freeze arrow now. Oh, Hawkeye, where are you going? His free arrow actually creates a field of frost now. I've never used it, but it's a lot of his new arrow skills actually spread out from the point of impact of the arrow, which is different than some of them previously were. See, something like that. Now the gas is right around where the point of impact, and that was always the case for the tear gas arrow, but that's also the case now for his frost arrow and his shrieking arrow. So you know, not too much again has changed. Very interesting things there. Uh, his last new arrow is actually the StarTech Medical Arrow, and if you were on the forums, Doomsquad actually teased this arrow a bit. It will actually heal and buff allies that stand within the field. It looks amazing. It's going to be really nice in a team-based setting, but when you're using it by yourself, not the most useful skill in the world. Other than that, his signature power is called the StarTech Claymore Turret, and as you can see, the stats there, does a lot of physical damage per second, lasts for 6 seconds, has a reasonable cooldown. Here's a look at the animation. So a lot of AoE damage. It has a very wide range on it and very, very useful. And I believe, the last thing, of course, the Avenging Arrow, which you guys have all probably seen a teaser for. That was available on the official website, and I'm not going to use it just yet, but I will use it on the final boss to show you just how cool it looks. So we're going to go over my build real quick here. I do have the Twin Prim arrows, and I am using these as my basic attack to help me refill my spirit faster, because that is what one of the arrows does now. I am using the 3-round burst, which is one of his new skills, and very useful for taking down bosses or elites very quickly. And again, it does do that 40% extra damage. Very, very nice. Wave of Arrows I use as my general AoE skill. Nothing too different there. Very nice skill. Good animation on it. Shrieking Arrow I use to take the damage off of me. Very useful. It acts as a taunt. Acrobatic Roll, again, just a skill that I use because it's there. Then the StarTech Claymore Arrow I already showed you, and the Medical Arrow I've showed you, and I've already gone off a couple times with the Tear Gas Arrow. So I've gone ahead and I've picked the Mr. Sinister Daily because this has a high density mobs, and this is actually a red terminal. So you guys should be able to see just how much damage that I'm doing with very, very little effort. And he's really become kind of the AoE king, and he's always been really good with the crit, but now his damage output is absolutely amazing. I don't feel that there was a major change to the way his damage output works, with other than the fact that there's now a viable melee build. But that's kind of, a viable melee build is kind of up to the person, I mean, I personally don't feel that a melee build on an archer is ever really going to be viable, especially with the new raids that should be coming in a month or two. But I can't speak for everybody. Different strokes for different folks and all that. I do, however, love his AoE-ness, if that's even a word. He does fantastic AoE damage. He is an absolute beast with boss fights, especially if you get someone to tank for you. But even if you don't, as long as you can keep your Shrieking Arrow up, which with my Prim Arrow, I never run out of spirit, so I don't have a problem keeping them up. I don't really get hit. I don't really take damage. And I've gone ahead and I've done a few Cosmic Terminals solo. And Hawkeye handles them like a champ, which I don't feel that he was one of the strongest DPS characters before. But now with his level 52 rework, I don't see... I mean, maybe Cyclops is better just because of the bounce on his basic attack, but I don't know of any hero that can put out the same amount of damage with the same amount of survivability, both AoE based or single target based. He's just an absolute beast, and it really shows. Hawkeye is one of the older characters. In fact, he was originally a starting hero, and people were kind of like, oh, it's Hawkeye, you know, no one likes Hawkeye, Hawkeye's crap. But with these changes, I think a lot more people, especially the min-maxers who are really looking for the maximum DPS in every situation, they're going to really like Hawkeye because his damage is just out of this world. And his survivability now is pretty good as well. And especially if you pick up the melee passive, which I only put 1 point into, but it actually gives him dodge and extra defense rating now. So, I mean, if you pump that up, and along with his Shrieking Arrow and all of his other tools in his big box of tricks now, he has been remade to be really a top contender for the upcoming content, and really even existing content. I mean, I can run through terminals with Hawkeye, you know, no problem nowadays. And you know, ranged characters have always been hit or miss with the, you know, you do a lot of damage, but you get one-shotted. And Hawkeye, I don't think will have that problem, just because he can kind of, like you guys are seeing, I put out this Shrieking Arrow. It taunts everything in the area, so I throw out one of my tear gas arrows. Continues to taunt everything in the area, so I throw out another Shrieking Arrow, another tear gas arrow, and I don't even have to fire my basic attack. I can just watch, and everything dies. And this is a T4 red terminal. I mean, obviously these are not the most challenging of terminals. That's reserved for the new cosmic terminals that will be released in this update. But I think you can see just the potency of the Archer here. I mean, he has so many viable build options now because so many of his skills with this update do an obscene amount of damage. They've really made him fit in with the other characters, and you can kind of just play him the way you want. He's very versatile now. He can even be support with the way his healing arrow goes here. Although I gotta say, something that about the healing arrow is it doesn't heal for a ton. I mean, 71 health per second is nothing, and if you get it up to, I believe at rank 20, it's somewhere maybe 150, 175, something like that. It's a decent number, but it's still not going to, like, you're not going to be fully healing people who have stacked health relics and health artifacts and all that. It's useful, but it's not going to solely keep your team alive in a fight, if you know what I mean. And you know, with the damage that he does, I'm not sure if the healing arrow should be that powerful, but I can see that there are going to be a lot of Hawkeyes who aren't even going to bother picking it up, just because it's a little underwhelming for the points that you have to put in it to get reasonable returns on it. So that's a bit of a bummer, but overall, Hawkeye's level 52 rework is absolutely amazing. He's doing so much more damage now. He's a more complete hero. All of his skills are viable. They can all be used to great effect. And I don't want to kill Mr. Sinister too quickly because I want to show you guys the ultimate. But I guess it's a red terminal. I don't have to worry about that too much. So behold creations. And we go with the ultimate. There we go. Avengers assemble. Look at that. Look at the damage. It literally wiped him out. Like, my signature power and my ultimate eviscerated poor old Mr. Sinister. And that is Hawkeye in a nutshell, folks. Hawkeye now is overwhelming AoE power. He has also great single target ability. With his serrated arrow at max, the crit on it is ridiculous. He can kite effectively if you use triple arrow instead of twin prim. I mean, he has overall a more complete kit, and I think if you don't for some reason have Hawkeye, he's a character you might want to take a look at, because once again, Gazillion has knocked it out of the park with this rework, and they're starting to really show that they want all of the superheroes to feel like superheroes. No hero left behind. Hawkeye, one of the original cast, available now. These are his 3 costumes, and I hope you guys will enjoy our favorite Archer for a long time to come. Thank you all for watching. My name is TNG Street Rider, and once again, this is the level 52 rework of Hawkeye.